Good morning. I am getting up. It is 7:45. It is my day off, but I still want to get up early and kind of get my day started. I have stuff to do. Do you guys ever struggle with extreme amounts of dandruff? Because same. Also, that's Crow. He likes to sleep on my pillows. And then Miss Wu. You want to say hi to everybody? Hey, Perrin. Okay, let's make some coffee. I'm using my homemade caramel syrup and then a little bit of caramel sauce. Just a little bit, you guys. Nothing crazy. I switch back and forth between like cinnamon and honey and caramel. I can't do honey for like every day because it gets me constipated, which I guess is like normal for some people. It has a high amount of glucose in it, so if you're prone to irritable bowels, I don't know, I don't think I am, but apparently honey is very, like, it really affects me if I, you know, eat it every day. But anyways, I digress. I've been a huge fan of wide mouth mason jars. They're just easy to clean. They're just easier to use, in my opinion. Oh yeah. Yep. Okay, well now I'm gonna make some breakfast. I live in the woods and it's definitely like an area where like you're prone to get more like wildlife and stuff like that. However, I also live in an old house, so I get a lot of critters way more often. So I've been having an ant problem, but it seems to be at bay for right now. But I try my best to not leave my food, like, not my food, but my dirty dishes in the sink. What is that? Suki's a Virgo. She's born September 1st. I don't actually think, I don't actually know when her birthday is, but when I got her, she was 2 months old, and I got her at the very end of October, like Halloween. So when they told me that she was 2 months old, I was like,
oh, that means that she was born September 1st. She's a Virgo.
I can't romantically be with water signs because I'm a Leo. So I just can't. It's never worked out for me. They've always been ass, and that's that. My partner is a Leo as well, which is crazy. And I've never dated a Leo before until I met this person, and I'm, dare I say, in love. So I have Leo for a romantic partner, and then my two closest friends of all time are both Leos. Crazy. I have a lot of fiery blunt energy around me, and I love that because that's how I am. I've slowed down a little bit on the bluntness though, I will say. Try to be nice, but what is that? She's like scared of the camera.
You want to come sniff it?
Whoa, Miss Wu. I don't know, I'm not that hungry. I need to go do something. I have something scheduled at like 10:30 today, so, and I live in the middle of nowhere and I have to do like an hour drive, so let's start. Okay, just finished making my breakfast sandwich. Now I'm going to get dressed and get ready for the day. We will see what the outfit's gonna be for today, you guys. Let's see what it's gonna be. Okay, I'm gonna do my skincare. I've taken really good pride in how I take care of my skin, so I'm just gonna wet my face first. And then I'm gonna go in with my Bioma Hydrating Serum. I don't know how anyone with dry skin can handle the New England winters, but we're out here, I see you, and we're doing it. And then I go in with the Bioma Moisturizing Cream. Lather that all over my face. I put it on top of my eyebrows too, because I get really bad dry patches in the corners of my eyebrows. I get that from my dad. My dad had that, and he also had dry patches underneath his mustache when he used to have it, when he first met my mom. I remember the day my dad shaved his mustache. I think I was like 4. It scared the shit out of me. Now I'm gonna go in, this is just a little extra oomph, but I'm gonna go in with some calendula oil. Calendula oil is really good for like scrapes and bruises and scars and stuff like that, but it's also really good for like eczema patches too. And I get really bad like dry skin patches right here, and like I said, right underneath my eyebrows. And I've been getting one on top of my eyelid too, so yeah, just a little extra oomph to kind of help my skin. But it's literally just calendula oil. It's just olive oil and calendula flowers. So I am like not sponsored by Bioma at all. I just like their products. They work for me. I don't know if they're the most clean for my skin, but this has been the only brand that has worked with my skin like consistently. But I'm going in with the Depuff Brightening Eye Gel because your girl has genetically terrible puffy eyes in the morning and dark circles, so thanks, Mom and Dad. And then lastly, I'm gonna go in with my sunscreen. I use the e.l.f. Invisible Sunscreen. They come in like different tints, but I get mine in just the translucent one, which I'm guessing this is like a hot commodity to come by, is specifically the translucent one, because I had to go to Ulta 3 separate times before they restocked, before like it was there again, for me at least. I'm sure they've restocked it like in between the trips I made, but I was like, damn, like, is this like a huge thing on TikTok? Like, what is happening? But yeah, my skin just looks glowy. If I had like cowlicks or something, I would put more product in my hair and zhuzh it up, but like, I don't know. I think it looks cute right now. It looks kind of like what I want it to look like, which is like very like early mid-90s. What's her face from freaking Pride and Prejudice? That didn't come out in the 90s, but you know what I'm talking about, okay? Okay, anyways, I'm gonna rinse my mouth. My partner hasn't like outwardly come out and said this, but I can tell that he hates when I gargle, but it's really good for your gut. It's really good for your gut, actually.
Gargling is really good for your gut.
Because your tongue is connected to your gut. That's why tongue scraping is really good for you as well. Oral hygiene is connected to your gut. Just saying. My mom kind of like enforced good oral hygiene in me when I was a kid. That's why I have like really straight teeth. And then it kind of fell off the wagon when I started to do drugs. But now I'm back. And I've learned that mouthwash first, brushing your teeth second, has really helped keep my mouth fresh, you know, no bad smell. Okay, I gotta go. I will see you guys in a little bit. Okay? Love you. Hi. Currently came back from my commute. Took an hour to myself to just kind of decompress, eat something, and change because it's 72 out and breezy. So I am gonna go eat a peach by the water near me and read some of my book. The book is called Spiritual Herbalism, and it's by Karen M. Rose, and it talks about all the different kinds of plants, how it can be medicinal for you, how it's really good for both your mind, your spirit, and your body. And it incorporates a lot of like native wisdom as well, both Native American wisdom and African, which I really enjoy and want to really participate in. I feel like a lot of times I have struggled with the idea of wanting to honor and love and be respectfully obsessed with herbalism and ancient medicinal practices without it becoming too much of a whitewash. I feel like that's really common, and I don't really want to be a part of that side of holistics. I want to be able to fully honor and love and appreciate herbalism and what plant medicine has to offer, while still honoring where it comes from and who created it and how it connects to a lot of like old native and indigenous stories. Because a lot of the times, a lot of lessons and a lot of stories that are told through native storytelling are have kind of plant medicine elements woven into some of those stories, which I like and I want to learn. So yeah, if you guys want to get a book that like kind of touches on all of that, I love this one. We made it. There is a lot of people here, but this is a free area in Maine where you can just come and sit and just enjoy life. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna grab my sunglasses because it is bright out here, y'all. I'm kind of glad I grabbed my sunglasses because I left my peach in the car. So the cool thing about like meditation is that like you can learn about what's the specific kind of practice that kind of like calms your spirit. And for me, it's always been kind of walking meditation. Like sitting meditation I only do for like new and full moon cycles, but I feel like for me, if I just need to like calm my nervous system, I feel like movement helps me a lot more than just sitting really still. Movement meditation has been really good. You can just bring a journal, an offering if you want, and just kind of like just jot down what you're feeling, and it doesn't even have to be like coherent. You can even like draw, you can just scribble if you want to. I think that's been really important, is that like I think a lot of times people think that like calming the mind is by like meditating in the sense of like sitting really still and not thinking about much, but there's a lot of different avenues. I mean, even like being present nature is meditative. You're centering yourself, you know? We're human beings. We're supposed to be outside. I'm gonna come down here. When you're meditating and you kind of, you know, meditate with your eyes closed, and then you slowly open them back up, your eyes immediately start to label everything and label your environment. And a cool exercise that I've been doing for years now is that when I open my eyes, I try really, really hard to just like still sit in the feelings that were presented to me when I was in meditative mode, and not kind of immediately label my surroundings. Because to me, like, that's a very like fight or flight response to so much that I went through when I was a kid, of navigating my surroundings and making sure I'm safe. Whereas now I'm in this completely different part of my life where I'm healing through so much. And through that, when I open my eyes, I kind of just like have to remind myself, I'm here and I don't have to think about anything. I can just be. And I think that's really beautiful. And that's been a really cool exercise for me to kind of like tap into when I do kind of open my eyes up after a meditative session. And a lot of times people think when it comes to stress management, grief, trauma, physically you can feel all of those things. But sometimes even stuff that cannot be like explained, like even when you are feeling like angry for no reason, or you get really sick all of a sudden out of the blue, like no one around you is sick, and then all of a sudden you get extremely sick with a fever or a cold, and you're just, you know, you're beating yourself up and you're wondering like, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like this? And it's important in those moments to kind of just sit with yourself and be like, was there an event that happened recently or around this time of year that kind of my body remembers and brings up and doesn't know how to act? Am I stressed about this traumatic experience or this certain event? And is this how my body is reacting to it? I feel like my body reacts to stuff like that a lot, and it's up to me to kind of work through that. So specifically when I don't speak up, which doesn't happen too often, but when I don't speak up, my throat hurts and it feels like I'm getting sick. And I remember saying that to, I forget who, but I was saying it to somebody who was also a part of the spiritual community, and they were saying, that's just your throat chakra, that's just locked up. That's how it reacts, it's inflamed. And I thought that was a really powerful and true point. I think that's really beautiful. But I think we tend to think of grief as like this period. Like you grieve the loss of a physical person, of a job that you didn't get, of a romantic partnership that didn't last. You start the grieving, you end the grieving, and you move on. But in actuality, you know, it comes in waves sometimes. And there shouldn't be like a set end chapter to your grieving process. But it is up to you to kind of listen to your body and listen to your heart and understand, how do you want to handle this grieving process? And how can I do it in a very healthy way, you know, that's beneficial to me? Because sometimes it can be really hard. This is a good peach. My compliments to the chef. The chef meaning Mother Earth. I'm reading about the respiratory system right now, and it's connected to the planet Mercury, which holds the power of communication. And the respiratory system, I think, is a place that a lot of us struggle with. A lot of us struggle with open communication, both talking about our feelings, but also listening to others and not taking it really personally. Sometimes people just want to express themselves and just have you listen to them and be an active listener and just be there for them. But sometimes we're not even in that place to even feel safe to talk about our feelings. And it can really affect our nervous system and affect our respiratory systems, our lungs and our throat, our speech. And sometimes it can be, you know, from your past, or it can be a generational past too. It's important for you to practice and learn how to speak up for yourself, and in turn your stress receptors will thank you and your whole alignment will feel a little bit better. It can be so scary to talk about your feelings, but you have to go into your feelings with 100% truth and transparency. You can't express your feelings half-ass and you can't express your feelings without really just opening up about how you feel about things. In this book it says, "There is no protection when we are indecisive or allow doubt or fear to impede the next step forward," which is true. But it's not going to happen overnight. It takes practice, right? Everything takes practice and time. And I'm here for you, always. I'm very fortunate to have grown up with, you know, a mom who was very in tune with expressing how she felt. Sometimes it was a little reactive, but it taught me a lot about how to be a strong woman. I obviously still had so much growing to do from my own generational trauma work, but it's kind of a hard, weird journey to like be taught how to express how you feel but not be mean about it. Like learn empathy, you know? But that's a story for another time. Communication is hard, but it helps everything in your system, truly. That's why like when people first start therapy and they finally are able to open up, they like after one session normally they automatically feel 10 times better because they're able to finally lift and let go of anything that's been bothering them. It's a really cool, beautiful thing. She talks about giving and receiving in here, which I think is really interesting, and how like some of us are givers but we're not receivers, and some of us are receivers but we're not givers, and how like that connects with the respiratory system in the terms of like our breath. Like what are we taking in and what are we putting out? How can we balance that out? And that kind of like falls into meditation too, understanding and learning about the breath. Our breath signifies the power of expression in our own lives while existing in interdependent relationships. The breath reflects the separation from our mother, demonstrating independence. Asthma can be related to codependency with the mother, never having the space to feel independent or pushed into early autonomy. Lung issues can demonstrate the weight of having to shoulder being a parent and parenting your parents. That's so interesting. Obviously asthma, that's not the main reason why people have, or that's not the only reason why people have asthma, but that's very interesting. I would say that, you know, maybe my dad struggled with that because he has asthma, but I don't think that's it. I think that's just because my dad is a boomer. And his parents definitely smoked cigarettes. Many smokers smoke to have an outward expression, the exchange of the out-breath. I often ask those who have come to me for help with smoking, where did you lose your voice? So interesting. That's so interesting. I didn't really smoke nicotine, but I smoked a crap ton of weed for a really long time. And that was during like when I was like 19 to 27. It was a long time for me to just not be wanting to express myself. Those were some very dark, weird years of my life. So that makes sense why I didn't really want to communicate with anyone about anything.